Welcome back to the Try with Alex podcast. Today I am joined by Jazz Sloane, a 23-year-old amateur triathlete who has completed her very first Ironman at Busselton in December last year. We talk about that race in particular, as well as her winning that race and qualifying for the World Championship race at Kona in October this year. We go through everything from her coaching business to her training philosophies, what her weeks look like, and an introduction into her life as an Ironman athlete. It's a really fun episode and I look forward to sharing with you guys, so let's dive in. Alrighty, Jazz, welcome to the Try with Alex podcast. That's what we're calling this.
Thanks for having me.
Episode 2. We're going to get to triathlons in a moment because that's what I'm really excited to talk to you about. You've qualified for Kona and that is just phenomenal. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on that, to hear about the training that you're doing for it. But I want to start first with a little bit about you. So I know that you're a coach, an online coach.
Yep.
What inspired you to get into online coaching?
Big question. I'm just going to go straight on into it. So basically, in a bit of a nutshell, growing up, I was always super sporty, did like all the sports you could at school, just signed up for kind of everything. And then basically went down a bit of a dark path with food, lost a heap of weight, felt really crappy about myself, got down that bad rabbit hole. And then at that point, it was like a low point in my life. I was like 14, 15. I was thinking, it was really pivotal, but it was one of those moments where I was like, this is happening to me for a reason. I'm feeling super low for a reason. I'm going to help women because of this. And then got out of that and literally as soon as I could got qualified to become a PT. And I just had that passion since that low moment being really young. I just knew I would be a coach and help women not get to that point and build a really good relationship with food and training themselves. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating that something that seems to give you so much clarity and joy in the coaching and the lifestyle that you've built seems to have come from a low moment, like a dark moment.
100%.
I saw on your website that you spoke about this dark moment a little bit. You said it was in 2015. How old are you now?
I'm 23.
23. Fuck. So you were young getting into
that.
Yeah. Right.
Really young.
Okay. So like, what was that like? What was the? I don't want to go too much into it, but like, I feel like a lot of people have dark moments, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't share it.
No.
A lot of people just try and fight through it and figure it out themselves. But like, we're all the same. We're all humans. We're all going through the same shit, right?
Yeah.
So what was that like? And then how did you? It wouldn't have happened overnight, but how did you slowly transition into, helping yourself? And you speak a little bit about your website about the relationship to yourself. You can't really train from a place of self-hatred. You train from a place of love, right?
Yeah.
So how did you transition out of that dark place? Give me a bit of insight on what it was like, and then how did you come out of it?
I feel like when I was at that really dark place, I didn't even have like the energy to be able to function properly. So I was just like, I knew it wasn't normal, like it's not a normal way to live. But at that point I was thinking, there were moments where I was like, shit, like is this going to be me forever? Am I just going to be really low forever?
Yeah,
but
scary, eh?
Scary, really scary.
Yeah.
But there's also a part of myself, which I've always had since I was like a young kid, is like I'm really stubborn. So I just had to like, what actually happened at that low moment is I started to find like people on social media who had been through a similar journey and who had pushed through and done amazing things. I also had like a couple of mentors and like PTs that were really pivotal for me. So I feel like there was a switch. It wasn't overnight. It was like a slow burn, but it was fairly quickly compared to, I guess, someone else who had been in a similar experience, because I just had this like fire in my belly and I switched it in a really good point to thinking, okay, I can't stay in this low point forever. I'm going to get out of it and I'm going to strive to actually feel good within myself and help myself and want more out of life. Because I always felt like a bit of an outlier. Even before I went to that low point, I always felt like there was just like more out of me for life and didn't know how to like where that was going to end up. But yeah, at that point I just like channeled my stubbornness into like getting better and helping myself, and it was just like a domino effect.
Yeah. It's funny you talk about the stubbornness, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit later as well. But I truly think that you can't. Well, it's a lot easier to do like an Ironman or those endurance athletes with a bit of that grittiness.
I feel like you have
to have it.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, I think that I think it's inside everyone.
Yeah.
But some people just manage to access it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
You also have done like crazy adventures that we're gonna talk to you in a moment about stubbornness as well. I had something I wanted to bring up there. I've forgotten it. Oh.
That's right. It'll come back.
It'll come back. Cool. All right. So the dark place, you've come out and you're now coaching. So what does your coaching look like at the moment? How long have you been doing your coaching business?
So I got qualified as a personal trainer and sports nutritionist straight out of school. So I was doing face-to-face PT when I was like 18.
Right. So
and then really young. Yeah, and I worked at the gym before that, so I was like in that environment.
Yeah.
And then I actually just like left my own business doing face-to-face PT and started working under another online coach. So I went online.
Cool.
And that was amazing. I did that for like 2 years and I gained a heap of experience.
Yeah, learning from other people is such a hack.
Unmatched, yeah. So that was great. And then I went off on my own. It's coming up to 2 years now.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty fresh. And do you just work with women?
Just women, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, she's a photographer, and like
Yeah.
one of her biggest things is shooting women and empowering them.
It's amazing.
Making them feel sexy
Yeah.
and all that. So it's nice that you have a niche, and like a lot of people might dive into coaching and be like, oh, you know, I want to help as many people as I can. I sometimes have feelings like that. Right?
Yeah.
I just want to help the world, right?
Yeah.
But I think that you found something that you love and you're good at, and that it's niche down enough that you can like really, really help these people.
100%. Yeah, I love it. It's honestly the best. Yeah.
That's it. So 2 years you've been doing your coaching. What's been the highlight of that journey so far? Like, what is there a moment that stands out?
I feel like I do empowerment retreats where.
The Bali thing, I've seen
this. So the Bali thing's coming up, but also I've done a couple where we've been doing like a photo shoot. So I would have like all my clients, not all of them, but the clients who invested in the program would get together at like, we did Sunny Coast, also Byron, and I'd get a photographer and would do like an empowerment photo shoot. Like your partner would do, and would do that. And I feel like the first one I ever did, and like meeting my clients and having a really amazing weekend, I was just like, wow.
So your clients that you coach, you would set this up, they would come to the event, and then you would have like, so
it was like a photo shoot, and we work on like confidence and all the things we've been working on for X amount of months. My first one, I was like, wow, like this is amazing. I was just I was loving it.
That's sick.
Yeah,
that's really fun. I love that because a lot of coaches might miss that side of it. It's the we'll give you the program, we'll give you the nutrition side of things, but you got to celebrate it, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's so much more than that. Yeah.
Okay. 23 years old. Coach, been coaching for the last sort of 5 years, but by yourself for a couple now. Empowering women, I love it. Tell me a little bit about your adventures, because you've done some pretty cool shit for the age of 23. Like, you've been to EBC, you've climbed to Everest Base Camp in Nepal. What else have you done? You've climbed Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. That's so fucking cool.
Did you find that?
Yeah, it was on your Instagram. I stalked you.
That was unreal.
Yeah, May and I did that, I think, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience first. I'll share mine after.
So this was such a rogue thing that I did. I went to Hawaii with mum straight out of school. So I didn't do schoolers, but mum took me to Hawaii. So I was like,
what a mum.
What a mum. So we went to Hawaii, and I was like on Instagram before Hawaii, just looking at things we could do. And this hike popped up, and I was like, I have to do that. Like, I just have to do it. So I messaged this random guy on Instagram who posted about it. And he was like doing private hikes because it was kind of illegal at the time.
It is illegal.
It's illegal.
It's
I think it's shut
hike.
down now, isn't it?
So for context here, there's this place in Hawaii. It's called Stairway to Heaven, and it was for like the World War, where like they would be able to people would go up there to be able to scope down. So I don't know exactly the story, but it's a very small staircase, right? It's a tiny little staircase, and it got damaged in a storm. I can't remember how many years ago. It got smashed up, but it's this wicked hike. It's all overgrown through the staircase and stuff. You're not allowed to go there, and it's very hard to find the start of these stairs.
Yeah.
But there's a few blogs and things like that. So now you can continue just through the context for the viewers of Stairway to Heaven.
So I messaged this guy, and he was like, and I told him the date I was going to Hawaii, and he's like, you can come with me on this date. It's like $300 USD. Here's my account details. Like, I didn't tell mum, and I was just like, I'm gonna do it. Sent him money, and he was legit. Like, I searched him, he had a following, a big following, and I was like, this guy's legit. Like, he had, like, it's gonna work out. And I don't know, the audacity on me, honestly. And then I told mum, and she was just like, okay. Like, again, she knows I'm stubborn. She knows I'm going to do it. So she's like...
Did your mum go with you? No.
No.
Oh my God. Just by yourself?
By myself.
Oh my.
So
18 years old.
Literally. We got to Hawaii. I think it was a couple of days in this hike. It was the day came.
Yeah.
And he messaged me. He picked me up in my car. Mum went down to the lobby at like early hours in the morning. She was wigging out. I got in this guy's car. There's another guy in there that also did the same thing. He's like an SAS guy in America. So I was just with these two blokes. I was like, what am I doing? Like, actually, what am I doing? But we didn't do the stairway way. We went the back way.
Yeah, I saw the photos. It's like a
It was wild.
Oh, right.
So we went through all like the back way, and it was like, I think it was like 16k round, but it was like super hilly. And these guys are just machines, and I was just like trying to keep up and just like head down. It was so dark, foggy, couldn't see anything. And then when we got to the top of the stairway, it kind of like cleared up. And on the way back, I was like, oh my God, like we were just on the edge of cliffs. Like it was wild, but amazing experience. I'm so glad I did it.
So May and I, we just heard about it from a friend, and then we headed off there. And we looked at all the blog posts. So you
navigate your own way.
Yeah, we tried. Yeah. We had to go under like this drain pipe, and then through like a tunnel and stuff, and then you had to come up. And we went bush bashing for maybe an hour and a half, and no shit, May got absolutely eaten by mosquitoes.
I actually think I've seen this.
Yeah. And then we ended up. We were like, I said to us like, we're done. We can't find the stairs. We're going back. And then as we got back, I was like, look, I'm just gonna run up here another 100 meters and just see if I can see them anywhere. Fair enough. Literally walked around, saw them, and we were like, "Whoa, we have to now." Yeah. And it was just incredible. We've got the most sick drone footage from it. It was phenomenal. Just wicked experience.
Unreal.
Yeah. Okay, so you've done Stairway to Heaven. You've done EBC. Tell me about Nepal. How long did you go to Nepal for?
So we were in Nepal for I think it was 18 days.
Yeah. What made you want to do EBC?
Like... I have no idea. So me and Dad were gonna do what's the one in Papua New Guinea? Kokoda.
Okay.
We're going to do Kokoda, and then we came across like this deal going to Everest Base Camp, and this was the start of last year, and this was before I knew I was going to do an Ironman. Yeah. So we. Yeah, it was close. Wasn't very close. Yeah. So we booked it in October for last year. So we just recently kind of went. Yeah. We just like booked it, and I like kind of forced Dad to because like no one wanted to come, and Dad was like, "Yeah, I'll go to Everest Base Camp," not really knowing what the vibe was. So we kind of forgot about it for months, and then obviously I was so busy with Ironman training, and it came up so quick. October was here, and then we just went. It was the best thing I've ever done. This was in last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was the best thing I've ever done. I loved it.
What did you love about it? Because I've been to Nepal and I've done a similar sort of trek. I mean, just to share my thoughts. What was it that you loved about being in the Himalayas?
I think it was just like the mountains, like no phone reception. Like Nepalese people are so beautiful. Incredible. The Eastern philosophies, I think, are so wise. I'm obsessed. Yeah, it's amazing. And it's just like in nature. I just like was in my element. Yeah. I was getting into meditation a couple of years ago. It's maybe about a year before we went to Nepal. And I was building a really good routine with meditating every morning. 20 minutes on the pillow. I use an app called Waking Up by Sam Harris. I love it. And then went to Nepal, and I just felt somewhat connected to it all. Yeah. Like it seemed, I was sitting there, it was freezing cold, out at 4,500 meters elevation in the morning before we start trekking. I'm sitting out on this like meditation pillow looking at these incredible, you cannot describe the mountains. You cannot describe what it's like. It's crazy. We live in cities and suburbs and towns, and then you go there and you're like, this is Earth. This is like as raw as it gets. I just fucking frothed it out. It was a really special sort of a place, and it's definitely one that I'll keep going back to through my life. Himalayas just incredible. Yeah, and the people, the Nepalese people, so beautiful. You go and stay in these little lodges, like on the way up there, and they're all like really accommodating. They're all like, getting you extra food and talking and telling stories. And it was just like, it was the closest thing to what I think life should be about. I felt the same, and I felt so present, like wildly present. I haven't felt that present my whole life already. Yeah, and like you're disconnecting as well, like you say, there's no phones, and I just. I go about my life, like I was telling you this morning before we started the podcast that, I'm feeling a bit of burnout with Ironman training and just a bit struggling. And I feel like I sometimes just sweat the small stuff. Like I get inside my own head. Like we all do though. And I just feel like I'm like beating myself up about the smallest shit. And then when I go back to that moment, I'm putting myself there, I'm just like, wow, that fucking matters, man. Yeah. Like, alright, do your training and be happy with what you get to, but don't fucking Yeah.
Don't worry about it now.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
yeah, and I feel like it was a really nice awakening getting there. Cool. All right. EBC. Yeah. What next? All right. So, let's get into the nitty gritty stuff, because like the audience that's going to watch this is mainly going to be interested in triathlons, or people doing inspiring challenges. Yeah. So, you got into triathlons when? What was the? Can you pinpoint a moment that you were like, oh, I'm going to give that a go?
Yeah. So it was October 2023. I watched a video of, I'm not sure if you, Nutty Fruity Fitness on Instagram.
No, I don't know.
She did an Ironman, and she basically did it from like scratch in like 10 months. Yeah. And I watched that YouTube video in October 2023, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. And at that point, I was sick of just aesthetic training, like just pure weight training. I'd done that for like years. Yeah. And yeah, that was just like, I watched it and I was like, I'm gonna do that. And I kind of like parked it, but it was in my mind for like a few months. And then I actually like went forward with it and got a coach February last year. So this time last year, I got into triathlon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just had a thought and I got distracted. I'm sorry. Okay, so February last year you got into triathlons, and then your first race was Busso?
First triathlon was in Mackay, like an Olympic distance, 12 weeks before Busso.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So Busso would be...
Busso was like the main
one. Fuck, that is incredible.
Yeah.
Alright, so Busso is in Perth. Are you from Perth, originally?
Yeah, born in Perth, yeah.
Okay. And then where have you been living since?
So
like, you grew up in Perth your whole life?
Yeah, grew up in Perth. We then moved to Lennox when I was 5 years old. Yeah. Grew up there, and then I moved to Gold Coast when I was like 18, got that online job. Yeah. Then moved to Early Beach, now back to Gold Coast. Right.
So were you always going to do Busso when you decided you wanted to do an Ironman?
Yeah, so when I got the coach in February, just before our call, I kind of searched when the Ironman dates were. Yeah. And then Busso was end of year, so I was like, okay, that's 10 months. Yeah. Surely that's enough time. Yeah, so that's what I just locked it in.
All right. For anyone that doesn't know, like, or they might know what an Ironman is, but they might not be able to comprehend it, right?
Yeah.
How can you describe how long an Ironman is? How far it is? Like, we know it's the distances. The 3.8 kilometer swim, it's 180 kilometers bike, and then it's a marathon, right?
Yeah.
But like the sheer effort that it takes to do it is just it's stupid.
It's wild.
It is so much.
Like thinking, when I first started, I knew it would be a huge challenge, obviously, but I had actually no idea what I was getting myself into. Like, just the constant training, no days off really, fatigue, like hours of your weekend is just on the bike and running. Like you can't explain it. Like
you literally can't.
I can't.
It is, especially like going from not training for it to training for it is just like,
whoa.
Holy fuck, man.
Yeah.
I remember so we'll talk about Busso in a moment, but I want to share a story about when I got into triathlons, right? I saw like a video on Instagram or something, and I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. And then I looked up what an Ironman was, and I was like, okay, that's how far it is and everything. And I was like, I'm going to go and do 10% of it in a gym. Like, I'm just going to go to the gym, and I'll just do the swim, and I'll do a bike, and I'll do a run on the treadmill, on the bike, and I'll just do that distance 10%. Yeah. And well, it's only like a 400 meter swim, so that was alright. The bike ride was like 18 Ks, and I was like, holy fuck, that's actually pretty long. I've been out here for like, 45 minutes, and then I had to do like a, just under a 5K run, and I was like, that's taking me over an hour, man, to do 10% of it.
Yeah.
And it was just like a rude awakening. I was like, holy fuck, this is such a big task.
100%.
Yeah, and then I started to like get interested in it. I was like, fuck, what would it take to do that, let alone train for it? And that's when I ended up booking my first half, which I definitely didn't do enough training for that. I was such a novice. I did my first half and I didn't even wear cleats. Like I was literally,
oh my God.
I know, man. It was so bad.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So
that's kind of cool though.
It is, but like at the same time, when I look back on it now, I'm just like, what was I thinking, man? All right, we'll worry about Bolton later. But okay, so Busso, you have 10 months to train for it. February last year, you get into it. What was it like for the first maybe 2 or 3 months training for Busselton? So you had a program from a coach?
Yeah. And
then like, what were the hours sort of like for that?
So the first couple of months, it was like, looking back, it was nothing intense, but at the time it was intense. I was like, holy crap. Yeah. So I feel like I didn't actually start cycling until April, by the way, because I didn't get a bike until April. So
did you do anything in the gym though?
No.
Nothing? Oh
nothing.
God.
No cycling, which I don't know what the coach was
Crazy
at the
now,
time.
eh?
Yeah.
Like crazy thing.
But anyway, yeah, so it was just purely swimming and running and then just my gym stuff for the first like couple of months.
Yeah.
But the running, like my body just could not adapt. I think it took me a solid 16 weeks until I wasn't feeling completely stuffed in my runs. Like I had runner's knee, I was strapping my knees every run, like I was just in shambles. But I was, again, I'm so stubborn, I just did not miss a session. I didn't miss a session like the whole 10 months besides I got sick. Yeah. But it's just like, I don't know.
That philosophy there, where you're not missing a session, I truly believe in consistency. Yeah. I believe in doing something again and again and again and stacking the wins on top of each other. However, when you do that with an intention of just doing it for the sake of doing it, I think it's bad.
100%.
If you can be consistent with the intention of, I'm still going to look after my body. Yes. I'm still going to rest. Like I'm still going to recover. Yeah. If I have got a 3.5 hour ride today, but I'm going to actually get out there and do an hour and a half to get something done. Exactly. But still feel good. I think that is important. And like today, I skipped on my ride altogether, which I've just needed a break. Yeah. But if I had gone out and done like an hour and a half, I probably would have thought that was the better progression. So my question here is like, you had this mentality of I need to do every single session. How's your mentality now, having done the Ironman and then training now for world champs? Do you have a different mentality, or is it still that nitty gritty?
It's still like I'm still very stubborn in like my sessions, but I would say I'm definitely smarter in the sense of like I've currently got a quad niggle and I had to miss my ride this morning. Whereas if that happened to me last year, I would have been wigging out. I'd have been like, crap, how am I going to do an Ironman? Because I just had this pressure of like, Jazz, you sign up to an Ironman, you have to do the Ironman. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But in saying that, like I didn't miss a session last year, but I obviously got sick. And there were moments where I had like niggles in my glutes, obviously missed sessions. But it wasn't coming from a place of like, oh, stuff it, I'm just not going to train today. It was from a place of like, okay, you actually can't train today. But it's definitely, I've still got that same mentality, but I feel like I'm actually just smarter.
A little wiser.
Wiser and thinking, okay, you've got big goals. Like you can't just continue to slash yourself. Like you've actually got to be smart if you want to do well.
Yeah, cool. All right, talk to me about Busso. So what's the feeling like? Try and describe the feeling to the audience here about the hour before the horn goes. What's going through your body? Like what are you feeling?
I was just like so excited. Like I vlogged it all for YouTube as well, and I watched back my video just like the other day.
Cool video.
It is, and I was just like, I can't even explain it. I was so nervous, but also so excited, and just like there wasn't one bit of doubt in my body that I wouldn't finish. I knew I'd finish, like whatever it came to, but I was just like, I had this just feeling of like, okay, you've trained, the last 10 months has been purely for this race. It's now here. It's just an intense feeling of like, holy crap, you're about to do what you've been training for the last 10 months. Yeah. It was wild, but like unreal.
Blurry at all?
No. It was, I was so present, Yeah. Fantastic.
It's like I say, it's a accumulation of everything coming together, and it is just, like I did my half, and that I had the tingles the whole morning. I'm like,
you did?
Very, very nervous and everything like that. I can't imagine what Cairns is going to be like because I've now vlogged everything. I've done a lot more training for it.
Like
there's a massive target on my back with a sub 10. So like I'm trying to prep myself for that. I'm trying to visualize a little bit to calm myself down because that moment it's taxing. It is. It's taxing on your body, and if you're spending energy in the hour leading up to an Ironman, it's wasted, right? I think trying to calm the nervous system down and relax is really important. Yeah. Okay, so the horn goes off, you take off. How'd your swim go?
Swim was good. So it was really choppy in Busso. But
it was really choppy.
It really was. But the first like 500 meters, I feel like I was just trying to get into a flow, which is always the way with me with open water swimming. But because I'm confident in the ocean, I wasn't really scared about the chop. I was just like trying to prep myself for the day ahead. I honestly use a swim to try and like visualize myself on the cycle and like with my nutrition.
Because you are with your own thoughts, just
for the whole time,
gurgling going on, and all you thinking,
So I got around like the first buoy, and then I was in a really good flow, so that was good. I was kind of like, it was kind of annoying. I had to like dodge a few people, which obviously it's kind of to be expected as people everywhere. but then I got a really good flow. Buster was an Aussie exit, so you had to run out, go back in. Kind of hated that because I was in a really good flow.
Yeah, okay.
But in the swim, I was kind of like almost I was telling myself to slow down a bit because I didn't know how to pace myself. I'd never done Ironman before, obviously. But it was good. Like, I enjoyed it. I didn't want it to end. Like,
the swim?
Yeah.
Really?
Because I was just nervous.
I don't really know too many people that say that.
I know. I feel
like it's an unwritten law that like everyone hates the swim. So it's funny to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay. So what was your time for the swim?
1:10.
1:10. Okay. So roughly a 150 pace, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal, really, especially in those conditions.
I
was down there watching, and it was really choppy. I just remember thinking, I was like, "Fuck, I'd be swallowing so much water."
If
I was
I did.
there.
Yeah.
Do you swim on both sides?
Breathe.
Sorry. Breathe.
Nah.
You breathe on both sides.
No, I kept to the one side.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I refuse to breathe on the left-hand side. I will only.
I'm always left.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I cannot breathe on that side.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Swallow so much water. All right. Awesome. So finish the swim. You're comfortable. You're feeling good. Do you feel like you raced the swim, or do you feel like you survived the swim?
Because I feel like I just cruised the swim.
Okay. Yeah.
To be honest.
I find when I do all of my swimming training, and I've done a couple of swim races in the water in Perth, I feel like I've got more heart rate. I've got more that I could be giving, but I'm. It's almost like a little bit of panic, and I'm not used to it. I know what the body feels like when I'm running at intensity, and I feel like I know what I could manage over time.
Yeah.
But with swimming, I don't. I don't feel like I know that, and I feel like I'm just sort of like getting through until I get on the bike. I'm like, all right, now I'm comfortable. I know what's expecting, and I would love to get to a point where I'm racing the swim, where I know, all right, my heart's going to go through the roof here.
Yeah.
It's going to be intense. It's going to be like hard work, but I know that I'm going to get out here and be okay.
Feel good. Yeah.
So I'll figure that out. I guess.
I'm the same, to be honest. Yeah.
I think most people are. I heard Zaka, he mentioned like one race, he said, I actually felt like I raced this swim. Like, I got in there and I knew what I was doing, and I pushed myself, and I came out, I was tired, but like I was okay.
It was good,
I'd love to get to that point. Anyway, out of the swim, onto the bike. 180 K is a long fucking way to be sitting on a bike. It's a long way. What were the first 60, 70 Ks like?
It was pretty good. So again, like Buster, we had the headwind, so there was a bit of wind on the bike, but more wind on the run, to be honest. But with the bike, it was going good. I was just like in a flow, just making sure to have my nutrition.
When did it rain for you? How far in were you when it rained?
I think I had like 40K left.
Okay.
Oh, something like that.
Yeah. How was that? How did that feel? That dampened the spirits a bit?
It did a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, okay, it's raining. Because it was going pretty well, and then I was kind of like not really with many people, and then it started raining.
Yeah.
And I was like, interesting. This is a weird Ironman day.
Yeah, because it was a weird one. It was like
all weather.
Really sunny in the run.
Yeah.
But like, I couldn't believe it. I drove out to like the second half of the bike course with a mate because I was watching, and my mate Cooper was coming past, and it was bucketing at that point.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is fucked, man.
Yeah.
Like,
literally.
So many people could just slip and crash here.
Well, there was a few crashes.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple. I was like, shit. So I was just like trying to stay switched on. Yeah. But the whole time, like, again, like the bike felt good. I feel like I could have gone harder, in all honesty. But I got like 30K and my back started cramping, which I've got my bike fitted since. I should have got that done literally a year ago. Yeah. But my back was cramping, and luckily I had Panadol in my tri-suit, which I never take Panadol. But I was like, I'm just going to chuck it in there in case.
May as well,
And I popped a couple on the bike. Yeah. And it did help. I think it was a placebo, to be honest.
Even if it is though.
Exactly.
Like, even if it is a placebo effect.
Exactly.
I think that's such a hack.
So I was
definitely something I'll be taking with me on race.
Oh my god, I highly recommend. Yeah. So that was good. But I got the bike done. Nutrition went super well. Like everything went seamless. It was just my back, but that was.
I want to get into nutrition soon, but we'll continue on with where we're at the moment. So it starts raining the bike. You're 140 Ks in. You're feeling like. So you said you cruised through the bike. You felt really good. I feel like a lot of people, especially people on Instagram, will message me and be like, "Dude, it's all about the bike. You need to make sure that you're fast on the bike. If you want to go sub 10, right?"
Yeah.
And my bike fitter, funnily enough, said to me, "Is like, yes, you want to get fast on the bike if you can, and get as much efficiency as you can, but you've got a marathon to run." you have to run a fucking marathon after that. And so many people sleep on the marathon. They get to a point where, we saw Sam Laidlow do it in the Ironman World Champs. He just took off on the bike and just cooked himself and blew up. That was one of the most fascinating learnings for me. I was literally watching. Did you watch that race? Yeah. I was watching that race being like, well, this is boring. He's going to win. Like, he's already 20 minutes in front. He's leading into the run. Like it's over. And he just completely blew up. And it was so interesting to watch because he came off the bike and he was running okay and he was moving fine. And then it just went bang. Like it just, like a fucking wall hit him. And I was actually wild. It was so interesting. Really, really interesting. And that made me think, I was like, okay, yes, I want to be fast on the bike, but if I'm not saving anything, if I'm just trying to get under 5 hours for the bike time, whatever it is, like I'm done. I'm not going to be able to run a marathon. So it's interesting to hear that you say like, oh yeah, I felt comfortable through the swim. I now did the bike. What was it like transitioning into the run? How were you feeling into the run? And then were there any moments of doubt throughout the run? Did you then push through the run? Did you have leftover in the tank?
So, and like when I say I kind of like cruise on the bike, it was like obvious. Like I was tired, obviously.
You don't have to explain that. Okay.
But you know what I mean.
I know you clarify. I wasn't cruising on the bike. I was still working. I mean, you won your age group.
I was still pedaling.
Must have done something.
But yeah, there was obviously more to give. But anyway, when I got off the bike, I was just high on life. Like I was so stoked, and then I felt great on the run. I can't even explain it. I felt so great. Instantly, like my pace was way better than I thought, and I was thinking, should I slow down? But I was also like, I'm feeling good. Heart rate was totally fine. So I just went with it. Clara, actually, a lovely legend, came up behind me and she was like, I watch your YouTube. And
while you're running?
While you're running. We had a chat. We ran together for like 30k. What? And we were just like talking. Yeah.
That's
and
incredible.
It was so great. She was just like next to me the whole 30k. It was unreal.
That is incredible.
But yeah, it felt really good. The only time where I was like, okay, head down, like, and I wasn't as smiling because the whole day I was like smiling. I just had the time of my life.
All your video, you just having the best time.
Literally, I was just thriving. But the only time where I had my head down and I wasn't like as bubbly was the second last run lap. And we're coming back into where all of the crowd was, and the headwind. Like I just felt like I wasn't moving. I felt like I was so light and just like couldn't move.
30k's in a marathon.
You literally. So I was just like, okay, 1 foot forward, and then that last lap. Obviously, it's the last lap, so I was just like
enjoying it.
Yeah. And I got told I was first in my age group, so I was like,
that is wild.
Go, like get it done.
I'll just say, mate, that is a huge achievement. I'm really proud of you. Like to go first and just lock in a spot for qualifiers.
Wild.
It's just incredible, mate. And your first one, that is a massive, massive achievement.
Thank you so much.
Really proud.
I appreciate it.
Okay, I spoke to Zachar, he was on the first episode of this, and he spoke about like the demons. He spoke about someone, like the moments where it gets too hard, and then you start to question everything that's happened. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever had a moment, whether it might be through in the Ironman, it might have been through something else in your life, it might have been EDC, whatever, where you just gone like, fucking hell, this is just so hard.
I feel like I didn't have that at all in the Ironman. I had that in some training sessions.
Oh, okay.
So I found training sessions harder than the whole Ironman.
Yeah, okay.
Which is kind of wild. But I think it was I went out for an 180k ride by myself in Airlie. And that ride, like, I was, like, there was some points where I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is hard.
Yeah.
I was by myself, the wind, and just like Airlie heat.
But it makes sense because on the race day, there's every reason to keep going.
Oh, exactly.
There's every single reason to just keep pushing through that pain and to smile through it and have fun with it. Right? There's people there. It's the race. It's the accumulation of why I've done this. There's a reason. When you're out on a 180k ride by yourself,
it's just like,
there's every reason not to do it. Your brain will be like, why the fuck are we doing this?
Yeah,
right?
quite literally.
And I think those, like, I'm really glad you brought that up because I think those moments, it's where you learn about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if you can be gritty and push through when you really don't want to, I think obviously if it's physiologically affecting you, I think you should pick it back a bit. But if it's just a psychological thing, if it's just in your mind, being able to push through that is such a skill. It's such a valuable asset.
It really is. And it was really cool on that ride too because I experienced like lows and then I'd come out of it and I was thinking, okay, this might be how it went in the Ironman. So I was like prepping for it, thinking, okay, if I get a low, I'm gonna come out of it. There will be a high. It's gonna keep going.
How do you have? So when you're in that low, Was there anything that helped bring you back out, nutrition-wise?
Nutrition for sure.
Mental thing?
I was just like making sure to still keep fueled.
Yeah.
But then at some points I was like, okay, I'm fueled. Like I'm not fueled.
And I had that in my marathon. Yeah. I just hit a wall around 36 k's in, and I was like, I need another caffeine gel. And I'm like, I've had caffeine gels. I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the fuel.
Literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me at that point, like I always think about younger me for sure, and I was just thinking, should be so proud and like push through, like you're doing an amazing thing.
Yeah. It's hard to see sometimes. I struggle to look back. Like if I look back to 3 or 4 months ago from where I was when I started this, it doesn't matter what I do today. I am flying above where I was, right? Yeah. But today, when I woke up and I did a bout on my ride, I didn't go. All these thoughts of like I'm disappointed, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to make it. You know, they come in, but really, like, fuck.
Like you're doing amazing.
Just look back a month.
Quite literally.
Look back 1 month and see where you were.
It's that reflection.
So, I think it's very easy to keep moving the goalpost forward. To keep trying to press forward and be disappointed. But every now and again, you just need to turn around and just realise where you come from.
Yeah, it's so powerful.
All right, final moments of the marathon. You come around in Busso, you're on the coast, then you turn onto the red carpet. Yeah. And you see the time. Were you going for a certain time?
I wasn't. Like, in my mind, I was thinking if I get around 12 hours, I'll be stoked.
Okay. And what time was it when you went through?
I actually didn't know.
I was like,
literally, I actually had no idea what time I got.
That's great.
So I rung the bell and I was just like so ecstatic. I can't even explain it. I was just like, the feeling is, like, if I feel that feeling again, I will be so happy. Like, it was honestly incredible. You're going to absolutely love it. But... Just gives you shivers, hey?
I know, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
But yeah, when I crossed the line, like I had tears instantly, like just started crying, like happy tears. I was just so over the moon. Walked down, like saw a couple of people, and then my partner at the time, he was like filming the whole thing, and he was like, "You got 11 hours 19, Jazz." Like, and I was just like, "Really?"
What?
Like, I was all in film. I was like, "Are you sure?"
So you weren't tracking your time throughout the day?
I had no idea. I had no idea what time I was.
That's wild.
And the only thing was, Luke was like, "Jazz, you're coming first in your age group." He yelled that to me on my last lap, so I was thinking, "Shit, okay."
Maybe I should fucking.
Maybe I should just like keep going here, obviously. But then when I crossed the line again, I was like, "Are you sure? Like, did she overtake me? Like, are you sure?"
So you weren't planning on trying to get to Kona. You were just wanting to complete an Ironman.
When I first signed up to a coach last year, I just wanted to complete an Ironman, but when I was getting to it and I was obsessed with the training, I was loving it.
Looked into it.
Yeah.
That's happened to me as well.
I wrote it down. I wrote up my goals. I was like, Kona. But I didn't know it was going to be that. I thought it might be in the future.
Yeah.
But my coach did say, I went for my last 30k run with my coach, and she did say, like,
your chance.
Like basically think about it. If you've got the money, like think about it. And I didn't think too much about it though, because I didn't want to wig myself out. It was there.
It's because it's one of the people that are listening might not know this, but you have to qualify. You either come first in your age group, or if it's like a pro series race, sometimes there's more slots and things like that. Yeah. You came first in your age group. Yeah. Therefore, you qualified immediately, and then the next day at the roll down, you have to go with your credit card and book
and pay straight away.
Immediately. Yeah. And it's like, we're talking like $1,500.
It's quite wild. Oh, it's like 2,200.
For
Kona. For Kona.
Just a ticket?
Yes.
What?
Yes!
I didn't know that! Oh no, you're kidding me.
And like 5 minutes before my name was gonna, like my age was gonna get called out, I was still like, what do I do? Yeah. Like, I don't know. But then I was like, you're 23, go. Money comes back.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's exactly right. Money will always be there. It's a tool to be able to do the things that you love.
Exactly.
You've got it there.
So
do the
why
things you
not?
love. So you've rolled up the roll down the next day. You know you've won your age group. You know you've got a slot. You've got your credit card ready. You book. You're going to fucking Kona.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? It's absolutely wild.
I
couldn't believe when I saw the video the next day. I don't even think I saw your video. I saw Ironman's video.
I was on
and
Ironman.
And it was your face that was on it. I was just like, did she just
What?
fucking qualify? Did she go to Kona?
Yeah.
I could not believe it. I was so happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Because Kona is just like the pinnacle of
the
triathlon.
race, yeah.
It is the race that every triathlete, as soon as you get into it, you hear about Kona, and you watch a World Championship race, you're like, I want to go and race there, right? And you're just like, I'm going. I'm going. This is incredible. I love it. I'm reading a book at the moment called Iron War. Have you heard of this? It's about the 89 Ironman, and it's just
phenomenal.
Really? It's such a good book. I Absolutely.
I might have to read it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got it on my Kindle. Maybe you can borrow it at some point. But yeah, it's really, really good. It's about like Dave Scott. He essentially comes into the sport and just starts dominating everyone.
Yeah.
And wins Ironman 6 years in a row. And this Mark Allen, he's this Mark Allen guy. He's challenging Dave, and he's actually like equal or better than Dave is, but he just can't. He's like got this hoodoo on the island. He beats him in every short course, every half, everything, and then he comes to Ironman at Kona and he loses. And there's something about this place that he had this hoodoo. And in the 89 race, it's just a phenomenal race. I'll let you read it. I won't spoil it for you. But if you've seen Iron War, if you haven't read it, you should definitely go and read that. It's such a good book. I really like it. Cool. All right. I want to talk a little bit about your time at the moment, like your training for Kona, and then I want to talk a little bit more about nutrition side of things because you're obviously a bit of an expert in that field. And then I think that's pretty much going to wrap up after that. I think so. You qualified for Kona. That's in December. We're now in
October.
Oh, sorry, no. You qualified in December.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
At Busso. You've had now 2 months. What's it been? You obviously recovered for a little bit after Busso. What's it been like getting back in the full training now for Kona? Has anything changed in terms of your program training for October?
Definitely just leveled up for sure, like 100%. So yeah, after Busso, I went to Bali for Christmas and just had some chill time. And then getting back into things in like January to now, I've obviously moved to Gold Coast. Like that's been a really good move. I feel like I've just found a really good groove.
It is so good,
with training. Yeah, like I've been getting pushed in my cycles riding with like you guys, and then swimming, like something's just clicked. I'm doing a lot more swimming because of my quad at the moment.
Yeah. But it has definitely clicked for you.
It's definitely clicked a little bit. But yeah, I'm just feeling like before this happened last week, I was feeling really good and like really. Like, I feel like I've progressed heaps after Busso, which is wild to think about because I haven't trained too much. But yeah, talking to my Liz and looking at my program and going over things, like it's definitely just a level up.
Give us a little insight into what a week looks like. Like not a taper week or anything like that, like a build week. Yeah, how many hours, if you weren't injured, how many hours were you doing swimming, riding and running?
I was meant to be doing around 17 hours this week.
Cool.
And I feel like that was this is the start of my port build.
Yeah.
So,
you're doing port as well?
Yeah,
full.
yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Port full, yeah. Ooh. So that was the start of my build almost. So yeah, around like 17 hours. Before that, it was around like 12 to 14.
Yeah.
But normally like Monday's always do you want to go through my week?
Yeah, just a bit of an insight. Yeah, let's do it.
Monday's normally always a swim and a strength session. Tuesday's normally a run and a cycle potentially.
And what does that run look like? Is it
normally a bit of a tempo run. Yeah. Okay. Wednesday's normally a swim, which I've been doing swim squad.
We do that in Miami.
Yeah.
The adult swim squad.
Yeah.
I might join you actually.
You should.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'm not doing Wednesday long runs, but I might have to. This is an interesting podcast, Joe. Just figuring out our weekend. Anyway, we'll move on from that. Okay, so swim squad Wednesday. How have you found that, by the way? Because a lot of my Instagram followers have said go and swim with the squad. Do they work on technique with you? Is it like just a session? Can you speak to the coaches? What's that like?
You can, like they do watch you. It's not as, because Miami's quite big though, like it's a lot of people. It's not as like personalized on one person, but like she will pick up a couple of things and like the sessions there obviously. And I feel like it's just motivation because you're getting pushed and there's people behind you, so you just gotta like keep going.
Yeah, okay.
So
Man, I've had that many days where I'll rock up. This is not doing swim squad. I'll rock up to a pool and I'll get in and I might do like 200 or 300 meters. And
you're not feeling it.
Nah. I just bail. I literally just,
I feel like that's good about swim squad because you can't like you're there. You can't just get out.
Like an idiot if you just get out. See, guys, I'm back up.
See, I'm done.
Okay. I'm gonna do swim squad now.
Yeah, do it.
Might do on Mondays.
Yeah.
All right, and then so that's Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes, Thursdays normally. It's normally like run and cycle. Yeah. Most days are double sessions. Monday's always a single session with Ironman stuff. I'll probably do a strength session Thursday as well. Friday's normally an open water swim.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And then Saturday is brick session, cycle run. Sunday's long run, and it was going to be a swim as well.
How big is that cycle on Saturday?
It was getting up to, today was meant to be 4.5 hours.
Yeah. And then what would be the brick be?
The run I think was 45 minutes off the bike.
Yeah, it's big. And then the long run the next day?
Long run was meant to be 2 hours, I believe.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
It's a big weekend, eh?
Yeah.
Massive weekend.
Weekends are just big.
Mine's slightly different. I do 2 long rides on the weekend.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and then the Sunday's the brick.
Yeah.
And then my long run's a Wednesday.
Yeah, right.
And it just breaks up that super long ride. I can do like a 3.5 and a 2.5.
Yeah.
Or 3.5 and 2, something like that. But I think now, because everyone's going on Saturdays and just doing Saturdays, going out by myself is pretty boring.
I can imagine. Yeah.
2.5 hours on a Sunday just by myself.
Solo rides aren't really it.
Yeah. We'll see. Oh, spill the coffee. Bugger. Oh, sorry, babe. Okay. So 17 hours a week. Like that's like a part-time job.
Oh, 100%.
It's actually a part-time job just
Quite
to train.
literally, yeah.
And you're gonna throw on top of that, you do Instagram reels.
Yeah.
You do YouTube. I cannot believe your consistency on YouTube.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't know. Honestly, like, there's not much time for much else. I won't lie. Like, it's just like a constant, I don't know, constant grind.
It's impressive, Jazz. It is so impressive. As a content creator myself, trying to do all of it is so hard.
Yeah.
You do all the training is one thing, and then you come home and you have to do all the content. And then on top of that, you've got a business that you're seem to be thriving with.
Yeah.
And you've got other clients that you're working with to improve them. It is.
Yeah.
You are an impressive human being at the age of 23. It really is. It's inspiring. I love it. I don't think I've got anything on nutrition. Sorry, I'm going to talk about nutrition because you're the bit of an expert here. What is your philosophy on nutrition around Ironman training specifically? And what is it that you like fuel yourself with?
So, like, I guess with the training I'm doing at the moment with endurance training, it's all about fuel. Whereas before Ironman training, I was more into like bodybuilding. Yeah. Still about fuel, obviously, but it's different. Like you utilize it to look a certain way.
So let's talk specifically about Ironman.
Ironman, that's so obviously, like, food is fuel, and one thing I will say with like Ironman training is I will never do a session fasted. Like, absolutely not. Whereas like in the bodybuilding world, like, it's not necessarily a thing you should do, but it's very normal. Yeah. Whereas like with endurance training and performance training, I feel like fuel is just everything. If you stuff up your fuel, you're just going to bonk and you're not going to progress. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. So it's just like a lot of fuel. Okay, so what does that fuel look like? Like, what's if you're doing a long run on Sunday, what do you have before? What do you have during? 2 hour long run? Long run, I would normally have, I'm gluten free, so I'd have gluten free toast with jam and honey before a long run, and a coffee always. And then on my run, I'd have a gel every half an hour. Okay. So with with my longer runs and cycles on the weekend, I always try and treat it like a race, so my gut's prepared as well. So same thing for the cycle, I would try and do what I would normally do in the Ironman if my rides are getting up there like they are at the moment. So that's on the run, that's what you would be usually having, gel every half an hour? Yeah. Okay, and then on the cycle, what would you be having if it was a race? If it was a race, I would have 90 grams an hour. Yep. I feel like I can push that though, because I felt really good in Busselton, and I feel like the more... you gotta consume more on the bike, Yeah. But you're right, on the run, one every half an hour is probably bang on. Yeah. Any more than that, and you're just... I felt a bit sick, exactly. So that was like my sweet spot, and 90 grams in the carbs. So how do you get the 90 grams of carbs on the bike? Is it all gels? I would do lollies and gels. Yeah. Because if I had too many gels on my cycle, I would then be like off gels for my run. So no real like proper food though. No. Hectic. I know, hectic. Yeah. I don't know how I can deal with lollies, but gluten-free apricot lollies, they're my best friend. I saw a hat recently from Mr. Jack Saunders. The Vegemite sandwich. Oh man, I'm gonna share this. Yeah. Jack is on his Instagram, and he got, I think it was like 6 or 7 Vegemite sandwiches. That's wild. And then just squished them all down, cut the crust off because they're too bulky. Split that little, it was squished down to like this, 6 sandwiches, split it into 4 lots, and then have one every like half an hour. And he obviously worked out how much carbs, sodium, and everything's going in. Yeah. Genius. Absolutely genius. Because it's proper food. Oh, which your body, it feels good. Even if it's a placebo effect, you're eating something that's not a gel or that's refined sugar as much. Yeah. I think it's a bit of a hack. The other ones as well, my bike fitter told me that dates are so high in carbs. Dates are incredible. They have like 19 grams of carbs in one day. Yeah, it's wild. So it's almost like having 2/3 of a gel. Oh, exactly. In just one day. Yeah. I could smack back heaps of dates, man. I love dates. You should so do that. I did that the whole entire year last year before I started to get into the gels and stuff, because like it's also cheaper. I hope the people that have stayed to the end of this get something valuable from that. Dates. And Vegemite sandwiches squished down. Also Turkish Delights, they're great. Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Good chocolate. I love Turkish. It's funny, I had a chiropractor back in Perth. His name is Dr. Tim. Very, very good fella. And when he was like going over the body and stuff like that, he said like, how much are you eating at the moment? Like, I was like,
quite a lot. Like I'm doing lots of training. He's like, dude, just make sure you always have more than enough. You don't want to be under. He said, like, if you are ever feeling low, make sure you've had enough food. Even if it's fucking chocolate, even if it's Red Bull, whatever it is, get the calories.
You actually just need it.
You just need calories. Now, I think whole foods and like good foods are better.
Of course.
But I think it's also, especially for the training that we're doing, we're not built to do that sort of stuff for so long, right? So it's very difficult to get that sort of calories in through whole foods.
Exactly.
So sometimes, and I would encourage anyone that's listening to this to not beat yourself up if you're having a block of chocolate. Almost see it as like a good thing. You're getting extra calories that you can then use later when you're doing your training.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's sort of my philosophy is eat what you like.
Yeah.
Obviously, like if you can have a nice healthy meal, it's better for you.
Yeah.
But don't short yourself on the calories.
Yeah.
Cool. Jazz, I think that's it, mate.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're awesome, and I'm looking forward to cropping all this up and putting it up.
Thank you. Amazing.
Thanks,
mate. So much.
Appreciate it. Oh, how long did we do? 50? Not bad.
Nice.